Hi, welcome to the Rough Guide to Economics. In the last class, we covered the basics of price controls. In this class, we will look at welfare effects and how governments might deal with the shortage.
The diagram on the right shows the situation in the market before intervention. The red area between the demand curve and the price line shows the amount of consumer surplus. The blue area between the supply curve and the price line is the producer surplus. Combined, these create community surplus, the total welfare generated by the market, which is equal to the areas A, B, C, D, E, and F in the diagram on the left. With the price cap, the welfare situation changes. Because goods are not produced beyond QS, there cannot be welfare gained beyond that quantity. In the right-hand diagram, consumer surplus changes to the new red area. The producer surplus reduces to the blue area. Community surplus is areas A, B, D, and F. Overall, there is welfare loss, as production has stopped below the allocatively efficient equilibrium. This is the black shaded triangle equivalent to areas C and E on the left diagram. You can pause the video here if you want to write this down. Because this policy causes a shortage, it means that it does not achieve the objective of making the good more accessible to those who need it. The people who can still buy are better off because the price has gone down. But those who can no longer buy are worse off. There is also the overall welfare loss caused by not being at equilibrium. This means governments may feel compelled to take further action to alleviate the shortage. To clear the market, an equilibrium would have to occur at this price. The two possible equilibria we could create are where the red X's are on the diagram. We could reduce demand to have an equilibrium at QS, or we could increase supply to have an equilibrium at QD. Reducing demand does not make sense for a good that we want to make more accessible. We would be trying to reduce demand for housing or food, which is also unlikely to work. So instead, we would have to increase supply. There are several ways to increase supply. The measures we would talk about in economics class are subsidizing, the government deciding to produce something themselves to add to the market, or if there are stored stocks available, they can be released onto the market. All of these would have the impact of increasing supply. Here we can see the diagram to show that a subsidy, or alternative measure, would increase supply. The aim is to have QS increase to the level of QD. Immediately we can see that it would be difficult to increase supply by the right amount here, so it is not an easy thing to do. There are always difficulties with any of the measures chosen to shift supply. Government production always runs the risk of being inefficient, as in this case, there is not a price system to guide them to the right level of production, and they would not be running with a profit incentive. Stocks can only be released onto the market if they already exist, and this can only work for non-perishable items. Here we can also see the level of spending that the government would need to do to cover the shortage with a subsidy. It is the blue shaded area. Like with anything else that the government spends money on, there would be a potentially considerable opportunity cost. It is also the case that subsidies themselves can cause a welfare loss if the market was allocating efficiently before.
If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe. It will help us make more